Good morning. Good Thursday morning. Uh, we're gearing up and trying to get the house all nice and cool from the evening coolness to uh, what has been billed in advance as perhaps the hottest day of the year here. Uh, when it says it tops 105 downtown, it's well over 110 here. Anyway, I can't really complain that bad. We have a very nice uh, ability to keep this house pretty cool, and thanks to the generosity of a Facebook friend, we have a uh, my office has a nice air conditioner to keep it cool if it really gets bad. Anyway, enough of that. Uh, I've been, this book came out in May. Okay, the Tarot Architect, and it's been very, very well received. I'm happy to say, and it's got a lot of exposure, and a lot of people are actually uh, uh, doing the program. Okay. Uh, part of the this is an experiential book, okay, uh, and ideally you take your time with it, and take your time with yourself, and construct along perfect cosmic and Kabbalistic lines, construct an entire tarot deck within yourself. And in doing so, the outward nature of that is for you, how no matter how crude it is or how unartistic you think you are, um, to have you systematically, and I mean systematically, create your own tarot deck. And when I say systematically, I don't mean, do the greater arcana 0 through 21 and do the small cards in linear order, knight, queen, prince, princess, ace, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not how creation happened. Okay, the tarot uh, is constructed so perfectly it could tell the story of the phases of creation, the phases of the supreme consciousness of the singularity, seemingly descend into the world of stuff and shit and things. And in other words, the descent, it describes the descent of spirit into matter. And the tarot has all the component parts for that. I try to explain that in the Tarot Architect. And once you understand what those component parts are, then you can put them in order. You can create them in order and understand as you're doing your little artwork things, understand what they are. And in a sense, if you create your own tarot deck in this systematic way, you are tuning yourself to those same forces, which is exactly the the reason that you do any spiritual discipline, is to better attune yourself to to truly the structure of the cosmos, the structure of you want to get sticky, of God consciousness. Okay, and so the second part of the book is the cards themselves, and allows you to have a basic understanding of what each of the cards are, but in the same order, not in the linear order that you get it when you open up the pack. Okay. Okay. I explain it much better in the book. Okay, you'll actually get it when you read the thing. But when it comes to the lesser arcana, the first part of book two deals with the creation of the greater arcana. Okay, and those are created along the same lines as the Sefer Yetzirah tries to explain how the Hebrew alphabet created everything from nothing. And on the Kabbalistic tree of life, that would be the 22 paths, okay? And that's in a particular order. And if you studied and created your cards in that simple step-by-step order, you would be tuning yourself, lubricating yourself up to the same machinery of existence itself. And so, but the second part of book two is the lesser arcana. And the lesser arcana is those four suits. Okay, and I talk about the Kabbalistic worlds and the four parts of the soul and things like that: fire, water, air, and earth. And I talk a lot about earth as it being special. Not only is it lowest on the totem pole of the elements, it's special. We got fire, we got water, we got air, but earth is special. In the Yod He Vav He of the Tetragrammaton, it's Yod, He for water, Vav for air. Second He. Earth doesn't even get its own Hebrew letter. It seems like, oh, what a stepchild of the elements Earth is, you know. And it is treated special. As a matter of fact, Earth is directly connected. Earth, as the lowest of the low, seemingly, is directly connected to the highest of the high. In the way of looking at the court cards, the king, queen, prince, princess, or knight, queen, prince, princess, they correspond to fire, water, air, earth. Princess is earth. So all of those four court cards of each suit live inside their ace in the same way as you see those four colored sections of the elemental tablet, Enochian elemental tablet, in this case, fire. So the court cards would be represented by the knights would be that red section, and the queens would be that blue section, and the princes would be that yellow section, and the princesses would be that earth, that green section. They all live inside, all four of those court cards. The Ace of Wands is the big Yod. Okay, but inside that big Yod is a little Yod He Vav He itself, and those are the court cards. Follow me? The princess and this ace have something going on. They're connected. As a matter of fact, this princess is called the throne of the ace. And she doesn't represent sections of time. She and her ace both, look, she's the throne of the Ace of Wands, and together they rule the Cancer, Leo, Virgo quadrant above the North Pole. while her other members of her family, the three other members of her family, get to rule 30-degree sections of time. She rules with her ace 1/4 section of space and everything. Oh, it's really cool. But anyway, I treat them as bookends of their suit, bookends of their element. Ace is the singularity, princess as the earth of that singularity. And so when it comes time to create those cards, this is the order that we do them. The aces, and that's how we study them. We study them starting with the Ace of Wands, and you'll end up coloring that yourself and customizing it with your own sense of art and understanding. And the Princess. You start building your lesser arcana with those two. Next in line will be the Ace of Cups and the Princess of Cups, and the next in line will be the Ace of Swords and the Princess of Swords. Okay. Now, why is this Earth thing so important? Why do they go together? Why am I starting it like this? Just briefly, the princess is the throne of the ace, and the princess grounds the ace. Without the princess, the ace would not have a place to manifest its pure potentiality. That's pure potentiality. This yod is just bubbling away with an infinite amount of potentiality, of fire, of yodness. But it's got no place to sit down. It's got no place to manifest, no place to plant itself. It needs a pure throne to sit on, and that's what that is. That's its earth. No womb to receive and manifest the elemental DNA of the suit. As with all four court cards of the suit, the princess lives inside her ace. Okay, and I sort of have a little drawing of that, okay? However, the princess has a special status because she is magically wed to the ace itself. Together, she and her ace rule 90-degree quadrants of zodiacal space. Now, we all know that space and time is a very, very narrow and limited concept. Okay. The consciousness spectrum is much wider than what we feel trapped in a time-space continuum. I mean, we screw around with that time-space continuum when we take a freaking nap, okay? But it's the one that seemingly we're stuck with, okay? Okay. I advertised today's talk about all of this by calling it the Emerald Tablet of Tarot. Okay, why is this princess so important? Why is she the climax of the descent into matter? Well, not only is she an ace you can wrap your brain around, but she's really important because in one respect, you and me are the princess. and we're just talking court cards here. Okay, we talk small cards. You and me are the tens, but you and me are the princess. We're the hey final in Yod Hey Vav Hey. The kind of romantic idea of the our progressive awakening, the Vav that's above our Hey, okay, is a holy guardian angel. And in the romance of the fairy tale of Kabbalah, we are awakened by the kiss of the holy guardian angel. In other words, when they say lightning struck me the first time I kissed my girlfriend. Well, that lightning, okay, in a way, is your awakening. You're like a sleeping, sleeping beauty, and the Prince Charming awakens you with a kiss. And he marries you. Okay, so he has united, or it has united with you, and you have united with it and have become another character. Okay, and that character matures both of those concepts. Eventually, it'll make you the queen. Instead of the princess, you become the queen, and you're becoming the queenness makes your prince a king. Okay, it's a kind of a cool way of looking at it. But the Emerald Tablet of Hermes, and I'm sure you got 5 copies of different versions of it. If not, just Google it. You can get a good copy. But they tell, in its own way, they describe the mechanics of this. And they call the earth part, see that yellow square is the top, the symbol of earth. So this would be earth of fire. They call it spiritus earth. And the first few lines, the first few verses of the Emerald Tablet more or less describe the origin and the nature of the singularity itself. But it starts off with just the first verse that they could just leave the way it is. Okay. But I guess publishers want more paper to. Here it is. It says the whole thing. It is true and no lie, certain and to be depended upon, that the superior agrees with the inferior. The superior agrees with the inferior. And the inferior with the superior, to effect that one truly wonderful work. Okay, and then the next few things sort of attempt to describe, and probably describe pretty well if my meat brain was wide enough to instantly see it. As all things owe their existence to the will of the only one, so all things owe their origin to the one only thing, the most hidden by the arrangement of the only God. There's 3 things going on there, and I tried to show this in this little diagram right there, if you want to take a little screenshot of it. It's from the book Angels, Demons, and Gods of the New Millennium. And I go on and talk about that, but the next verse is, the father of the one only thing is the sun, and its mother is the moon. The wind carries it in its wings, but its nurse is a spiritus. A spiritus earth. Now, I'm sure many of you have spotted the four elements: fire, water, air, and earth. Sun, moon, air, spiritus, earth. Okay. And then it says that one only thing after God is the Father of all things in the universe. The next line is the kicker. Its power is perfect after it has been united with spiritus earth. Its power is perfect after it has been united with spiritus earth. Okay, what does that mean to me? What do I do? How do I identify with that? I'm sure that's the way things are, but I sure don't see it that way. I don't, my spiritus earth is pretty damn earthy and not too spiritus, okay? How do I dig that spiritusness? How do I dig that fire out of my earth? Separate that spiritus earth from the dense or crude earth by means of a gentle heat with much attention. In great measure, once you've separated it, okay, seemingly separated it, in great measure it ascendeth from the earth up to heaven, of the earth and up to heaven. And then, get this, and descends again, newborn, on the earth. And the superior and the inferior are increased in power. It's an amplified feedback. Okay. And then it goes on. That's the section I wanted to cover, because that is the method to the madness of getting yourself tuned up to the aces and the princesses first. The other court cards are what I call the astrological court cards, because they represent 30 degrees of the zodiac. And maybe at another time I'll talk more about that. But until then, that's it for Thursday. I was sitting in the parking lot of Trader Joe's this morning, and I said, shit, because somebody had written me a note that I was trying to write a letter back. And so that's what I've been thinking about all morning. Anyway, I hope if you have, whether you're an expert or just a complete novice on tarot, hermetics, Kabbalah, whatever, I work freaking hard on this book, and I'm damn proud of it, okay? And if you don't have a copy, please order yourself. I always joke and say you don't have to read it, but I want you to read it, okay? I want you to read it. And I want you to grab yourself any deck of tarot cards, any deck that you like, okay? And start reading it. Okay, until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Try not to let the news get you down. And I'll see you tomorrow if Constance and I don't melt in the hottest day of the year, or at least that's been advertised as such. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. Go out and unite with your spiritus earth.